Hey, real estate agents, welcome to the Weekly Closer. I'm your host, Jeff Underwood, along with my co-host, Joey Sampaga. How's it going out there in Arizona?
I'm doing well. How's it doing in Missouri?
Good, man. It's green. Lots of green right now. So, yeah. Absolutely. It's amazing.
Awesome.
Yep. Hey, we have a great guest with us in the house. We have Lori Gelder, the Lori Gelder Group with Venture REI. Welcome back, Lori.
Lori.
Thank you. It's great to be back, but it's been a long time.
It has. Yeah. I was looking back. It's been over a year, I think. Yes. So,
yes,
for sure.
Lots of changes, right?
Oh, yeah. A lot of changes. Now, big shout out also to Kinder Ashford, right? For getting you in here.
Yes. My little friend that I couldn't do life in this business without.
Kinder is awesome.
Yeah, she's awesome. She is awesome for sure. Yes. Well, why don't you share with the agents that are watching or listening how long you've been in the business and what got you into real estate?
Jeff's trying to get me to say my age. Okay. So I'm just going to go with, I've been in the real estate industry for over 17 years.
17 years.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But remember, I started in the mortgage world and then transitioned into my passion and the other love of my life besides the love of my life, real estate.
When did you switch? Do you know when you switched? Like what year you changed over from the lending side?
So when GM Financial moved me out here for mortgages, I kind of knew then, but that was in 2005. And so I was brought out here for a purpose. And so I stuck to what the company moved me out here for. And then in 2007, I got my license.
Got it.
Very similar stories, the three of us.
Yes.
Because I was in the lending industry in 2002. Yeah, jumped into real estate an agent in 2012, but I was investing before that. So yeah, same thing with Jeff.
Yeah, same thing here. Yep. Lending business before. And then I think 2013 is when I got my real estate license. So,
but I almost feel like it makes you a better agent because you have that backing and you kind of know the other side, so I think it's an easy transition.
It is.
I found out like paperwork was not my thing.
It's not.
That's true.
And now I'm an amazing transaction coordinator, Kim, and I still don't need to worry about all that paperwork. So it evens out.
Absolutely. So for this year, 2022, I mean, I know the last couple of years have been really weird with the whole COVID thing going on. What you've kind of transitioned now, right? To more kind of focused on the investment side of things.
Yeah, investing in real estate is probably about 30% of my business. So I always had a big passion for it. And the more I helped individual investors, the more and more it just would drive me. So I've done fix and flips, remodels, everything. And it's a true passion, to see someone buy homes and have it as a retirement plan for their kids or grandkids. It's really cool and interesting to watch. But I still, focus on my other clients as well. So it's not just investments, but that is why I moved over to Venture REI to be by a lot of intelligent, amazing individuals that really kind of push you and leverage and show different ways of how they've succeeded in leveraging in real estate. So it's been an amazing, shout out to Dan who started Venture REI because, like I was telling you guys, I was fizzled and kind of done with the daily burn in the early part of this year. Like you kind of get exhausted, from being turned on for so many years of craziness that you can like really kind of plateau.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you, with your investment experience and what's kind of your favorite way to invest in real estate?
I play it safe. I'm a long-term, so I do long-term investments. But a division of Venture REI does do a lot of short-term Airbnb, VRBOs. We have people that really like that is their niche. They know it like the back of their hand. Amazing people. I met with one of them today, Jonas. He's an amazing person, but he's been doing it for a long time. So it's not someone who just got into it. Cause I think people are now trying to get into it and not realizing you need to create an experience, a difference, because there's so many Airbnbs and VRBOs in Arizona, like so many of them. So it's very competitive now. So people going into it thinking it's easy money It's not easy money.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I like long term because I like, meeting the tenant, finding that perfect person that's going to, rent it and treat it like a home.
Mhm.
And then basically teaching them home ownership. Because remember, I turn a lot of them to the home ownership division. And so I, have them meet with lenders, have them get to that next step in life so they don't always have to be renting.
So are you doing like lease options with your rentals?
No, I don't
Okay.
do lease options. I just really make sure they understand credit, finances, and home ownership. And when things break, like I have a crew and they can call, they schedule, obviously with approval from me.
Yep.
But it's basically teaching them home ownership because some people go and buy a house and they call me in panic. Oh my gosh, there's water in the garage. I'm like, is your hot water tank leaking? Where is that?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
let's go over,
Yes.
so that's what my goal is to kind of teach them,
Uh-huh.
so there's not a shock when they own a home.
Do you have a goal of how many rentals you're trying to get to? Or is
well,
there
yeah.
a number? And
I know it's hard because I just met with Jonas who does short term. So I had goals and other things, but being talking to other agents in my office have sparked so many new ideas in my head. So right now I'm just kind of taking all the knowledge in and kind of going from there. I would love to have at least 10 properties.
Mhm.
When I was first here, I didn't have any. I have 3. So, if I could get 7 more, I'd be super happy.
Okay. And they're all single family residence homes?
Yes.
Okay.
I love single family. But I wouldn't mind duplex, or fourplex. I really don't want to go into the commercial world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I love single family.
Perfect.
So when you met with Jonas, we've had Jonas on here a couple times, I think, before.
Yeah.
What as far as the short-term rentals, which I know you're not doing yet, but you might get into at some point, with standing out from others, what were some of the pointers that you guys talked about?
Well, I already knew that going into it. And I think, he loved the fact that I did know that because it's an Airbnb and VRBO. If you don't create an experience for that person who's staying, you are no different than any other place. So why would they pay you to $500 a night when they can go pay someone, $300 a night for the best experience in Phoenix? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm going to own. My goal is to personally own a short-term rental. So that's kind of why I picked his brain because we're going to buy that one next. But my goal is to make it fit that district. So say if you're in the Roosevelt district,
Okay.
you guys both familiar with that?
I am. Yeah.
Okay.
live
So
right
it's,
there.
if those listening who don't know, it's an art district. Great restaurants, amazing restaurants. So if I bought in there, I would tie it into the Roosevelt district. I would get all local art. I'd get all local restaurants, everything involved, get coupons, experiences, reservations, how to make the reservation there, because everyone's different down there. Sometimes it's Instagram. Sometimes it's, is it Open Table or what is that?
Open
one called?
Table. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So, just kind of get them to have the best experience they can in Roosevelt.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in that topic because we are turning one of our houses into a rental or a Airbnb, and we're thinking of all these things. We're thinking hot tub, shuffleboard, and all those types of things. So,
and what location are you in?
It's 19th Avenue in Glendale area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, the house was done up really nice too. So now we just got to put in the experience.
Yeah. And we have a team that does our short-term management. If you ever want to pick their brain, and then that way they can kind of tie into that because they're very good at that.
All right.
Very, like I said, being around these agents, managers, property management, and just hearing what is going on in that market, it's always useful, right? Learning, if you're not learning, I think they say you're dying, right?
Yeah. The thing that I heard also, especially this year or this football season with Super Bowl being here, in my area where the houses are, I mean, there are houses already reserved for like $4,000 a night. And then you've got Barrett Jackson, you've got the US Open or
I just because they Phoenix Open.
And so all these events coming up, and they're like, you should think about doing an Airbnb for this. I'm like, why? And then when they told me all that, I was like, whoa, okay.
But definitely get, if you meet with the property management at Venture REI, definitely get with them and have them run it as a short-term and long-term and make sure you like those numbers, because they have people that's what they specialize in. So they can give you which way you should go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll definitely have to get that information from you after.
Joe, you didn't hear they moved the waste management open to a different location.
What?
Yeah, Arizona doesn't have enough water anymore to keep that lawn that green.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm just
The water.
I bet if you put a pickleball court in the back of that house, Joey, you probably get it rented pretty quick.
That is so funny. I was just going to pick that up. Did you see that on ESPN?
Really? Is that
no
a thing?
Oh, pickleball
is so popular right now.
Players right now.
What?
And I forgot who it was that bought the whole pickleball online stuff from Amazon and how to sell it. Really? And then now they're hosting pickleball tournaments and there's professional pickleball players.
Wow.
Come on, Joey, we're going to go play pickleball.
Well, I used to play it in middle school.
Did you?
Well, yeah, they had pickleball back then.
No, they did because I think it started in Seattle.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the founders are in Seattle.
Yeah. We played it in the gym.
Oh, yeah. I've never heard of it until I moved to Arizona. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been around. I just didn't know it was that big.
It's huge now, isn't it, Jeff?
Yeah. Yeah, it's massive. It's a big movement right now.
But everyone can play. So you can play from age 4 up until 90. Like there's so many people that's all ages. So there's a professional team. It's actually, I think they're ranked number 2 and it's a mother and daughter. Like how cool is that to be playing professional pickleball with your 14-year-old?
That would be fun. Yeah.
Huh.
There you go, Joey. Joey's going to go measure that backyard.
I am going to go measure it.
Hey, you create that experience.
Yes. No, that's cool.
Oh, that's funny. Probably need some extra liability insurance.
Probably.
I don't think so because it's a wiffle ball.
It is a wiffle ball.
Yeah, you can't do that.
I know, but depending on how big, I mean, they may only have a couple feet on each side of the court. Run into a block wall, that might hurt.
Well, we'll just put pad on.
Yeah, there you go.
Pads, yeah, like arena football.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or like
they need to have that. Arena pickleball.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, that's something.
Yeah, there you go.
Dodgeball, pickleball.
Oh, that would be even funner.
Yeah, for sure. So what are you seeing out there with talking to some of the investors at Venture REI? What's the consensus of the market right now? Like where, what we've been through the last 2 months.
Yeah.
And kind of where we're going for the rest of the year.
So you have to remember, like when the market was crazy, a lot of investors stood back, right? So were my buyers and sellers the last couple of years, they were the ones kind of more so profiting from the market gain and everything else like that. So you see more of a change in, I think, the buyers and sellers today than you do in investors. Investors, especially educated ones, they kind of know when to hold back, hang on to their money and wait it out. And then you're going to see, I think, a lot more investors coming back into the game and, doing what they wanted to do a couple of years ago. Because a lot of my investors, did a standstill because they weren't going to play the game of the bidding wars and everything else like that. And then a lot of my buyers came back because they were so exhausted last year that they ended up renting after they sold their house because they were exhausted. They couldn't do it anymore. And I remember helping a single mom and she was just in tears. I think we wrote 4 offers. Because remember, I told you guys, I don't write a lot of offers because I keep people on track of what they want. And I'm so glad she listened and followed my lead because she held back and now it's more of her market, right? So now it turned into a buyer market. And like you and I were talking, Jeff, before we went on, it switched super fast.
Yeah, really fast. Yeah. It wasn't slow. It was just like tomorrow.
Yes.
Boom.
Yeah. So remember, I think in December, I don't quote me on rates because I'm not a lender, but I think it was like 2.75 or 3% December. Yeah. January hit 5 and people cried chicken little. And then they kept going up and down. And imagine people that just got into the business. I wonder how many people got out already.
I think there's a bunch already. I don't know the number, but.
Well, because they want, like a lot of people, easy money, right? And so when you're not in the business and you don't know what to do during a stabilizing year, and, a lot of professionals should take the stabilizing year and learn and focus on their own business and look at what worked, what didn't work, and kind of, change your business from how you should adapt to it. And I think a lot of them, are panicking. And I think panic's probably the worst thing you could do.
Yeah.
Well, I think that because I know last time this happened, I feel like a lot of people in the real estate and the mortgage world were living high on the hog, if you will, right? And then the music stopped, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, what do I do now?" I have the new Bentley, or well, back then it was I have the new Hummer.
Yeah,
all
the
the Hummers
electric
driving
Hummer's
around.
coming out.
What's that?
The electric Hummer's coming out next year.
Are you getting one?
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
I just got a Tesla, and we will have to talk about that because that is quite comical. Oh my goodness, that poor dealership. They're probably like, please don't ever come back. But no, I think with, like you said, with people, getting out, but living large and doing stuff like that, if you study real estate, it goes up and down, up and down. So it just, when people got in and they thought it was going to be easy, it's not easy. Like I told you guys, I was going so fast for so long. The beginning of this year, I was like, oh my goodness, like I'm exhausted. I felt like my buyers, like it was just like, it was a lot to take in. But we also talked about the lack of customer service. So I really hope, because you and I got really into that, Joey. I really hope people learn from how they treated others. Especially a lot of delisting agents that drove up the price on houses and home ownership. And I really hope they kind of focus more on customer service and bring that back into the business.
Yeah.
And professionalism.
Exactly. Well, I think that's going to happen. I mean, it has to. Yeah. It has to. I mean, you can't. Yeah. And you're going to have more of the professionals who were doing business way back then, or who are still in the business. And the ones like, as you were saying, there's probably a bunch that have already.
And I think we're going to see commission changes.
That'll be interesting.
The reason why is it San Francisco, or somebody put a flat fee on commissions. I forgot who it was. Is either San Francisco or Colorado. Like somebody did a flat fee. So it's because of the change. And it's low too. It's almost like London. I think London is 1%, but it is, they made it to where it was standard. It was set. Cause here it's not set.
And they allowed that to happen, huh?
Yeah.
I'm sure because
so you mean like a municipality or something? You mean like a town or city?
I think I would think it was a city. I'd have to look into it, but I was reading that and I was like, that's interesting. But again, like you see institutionalized corporations that they've kind of changed and paid like 2 and 2 1/4. Like you're seeing changes.
Yeah.
And you're seeing, I forgot what Homey, I think they're like 1%. Like, so you're seeing things.
Yeah, you're seeing these.
And so it's always a clue to kind of, as a professional, like study it, know it, and realize we're not set in commissions here.
No, we're not.
So I love it when people tell people it's 6%. It's not a set. So I'm interested in watching that. It is. And so exactly. So I always watch my wording on that because, you're going to change with technology. People are iBuyers. Like there's builders that switch to straight online. So, it's interesting to see the change with technology and kind of where we're going to end up at. But again, it's good to evolve. It's good for changes. Yeah. It's funny because people don't like changes when they don't initiate them and they freak out. But yet if they initiate a change, it's the best thing in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
So it's adapting. Right. You have to adapt during a stabilizing year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of people now too are, and kind of speaking to the whole, maybe some of the agents that have probably been living it up over the last couple of years, as business has been really hot. I also saw something just this second quarter of this year, like $16 billion in home equity loans that were taken out or something, which was one of the highest on record for a 3-month period. So I think a lot of people are starting to tap into that equity as just, hey, it's time to get the money out and do something with it.
Yeah, but you still have, baby boomers still own the most of the market, and they are more, I don't know how to say it, but they're more stable and they are very cautious. And you have them locked in on a 30-year, probably at 2 or 3%. And again, they still hold most of the single family homes. So, and they're not moving and transitioning like they used to Florida or warmer, places or cooler places and traveling all over. They want to be by grandkids. So they're still holding strong, and their goal is just to pay off and not, have that debt and to stay there. So I still think, there's a lot of potential when that kind of shifts as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
You mentioned before we got on here too about you have a goal to help people, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Somehow come up with an affordable option for housing. So I guess share with us a little bit about your thoughts there.
Yeah. So rent, when I go to restaurants, I love it's local love with Lori. I love small local businesses. Like that is probably one of my favorite things. I feature a new business every month. This month, September, I'm featuring Double Dutch, and I'm hosting a happy hour there so people can learn this great little small place. It's a great restaurant, great drinks, great atmosphere. For those of you who take selfies, I know I'm in real estate. I do. I apologize. But it's a great place for all of that. And it's dog friendly. So they have a dog patio. It's super fun.
Where is this?
This is in Chandler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm highlighting them on September 15th.
Okay.
And I talk to a lot of servers, bartenders, and stuff when I'm out. When I'm out in Roosevelt, any district, I love to meet people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very sad to me that so many of them don't have an affordable place to live.
Yeah.
And so they're driving 40 minutes to work because they had to move to Queen Creek or Santan Valley to rent with their family in order to drive to work, 8 to 10 hour shifts.
Wow.
And then you go to restaurants. I think when we talked last time, we were talking about there's no staff, right?
Yeah, that's
They're
right.
still having that problem. But the reason why they're having that problem, that city in which they're in, say Gilbert, for example, there's not affordable rent. I think Gilbert, I don't know if it's $1.50 or $2 a square foot for rent.
Yeah, Gilbert's expensive.
Yeah. So if you're making, minimum wage and relying on tips and relying on, an unknown income, you can't afford a $2,600 square foot single family home.
No.
I mean, you can't do it. So my goal is to create something for the service industry that they can afford, and it's nice and it's beautiful and, clean, and they have this great place to call home and work by where they work, live by where they work, because with gas and other things, like they can't, do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a reason why I went and bought a Tesla, Jeff.
Yeah. Not because you wanted to look cool?
No,
I'm teasing.
I really love my SUV. I loved my SUV. I mean, because I have a big family, so I loved my big car, but I sat down last month and added up. I think it was last month. I added up my gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost died.
Really?
I was like, oh my goodness. And so I just said, I'm getting an electric car.
Wow.
And so I studied. The only reason why I went the Tesla route is because of the range. So a lot of these electric cars are like 150 miles or 200-mile range. I would make it to 2 cities back and forth. It's crazy. So it's a big change. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I'm still on the fence. I have this anxiety of I'm going to run out of miles and I'm going to be on the side of the road and someone's going to TikTok, like, look at this person who didn't charge their.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah.
I know that happened to Templeton Walker. I don't know if you know him.
No.
He's an agent in the Valley, but he bought a Tesla.
Oh, no.
He ran out.
If you're going to Flagstaff, you will not get the mileage that it tells you because of all the hills and everything.
In elevation. So in climate change and elevation. So I was reading on that because I was, like I said, I'm in fear of, I don't want to be that idiot on the side of the road that ran out of the chart.
Well, that's what happened to him. He was underneath an overpass, just waiting for somebody to come and basically tow him.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing on the app, it does say service and it says battery charge.
So
how long does it take to charge it?
Yeah, that question. And I know that there are three types of batteries, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I ended up, I got the larger one.
Okay.
So I test drove, I went to Auto Junction, super awesome small dealership, and they got an S, an X, a Y. And mind you, I knew nothing about Tesla. Like I didn't know styles, models, or anything. So it was quite comical. So I drove the 3, which is great. It's a car, but the miles and everything, and you can get long range on that one. And I loved it, but I have a lot of children. So I was like, this is not going to work at all. And then I drove the Y, and I knew that one wasn't going to work. It's like a little SUV. And then I drove the X, and I loved it. So I ended up getting the X, and I it's the one that has that Falcon door where it opens.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So I liked it until I found out the cost of the new one. So I got a used one. I was like, when they told me, I was like, for a car, I'm like, I will go buy a cabin. Like, no, I'm not doing that.
So doesn't that include the electric that you?
Okay, so it includes the charger. This is the comical part. So I should have had the home charger put in already, right? That's what smart individuals would do. They'd order it from Tesla, have that installed already so they can charge at home. Well, I'm Mrs. Like, if I'm going to do it, if I say I'm going to do something, I do it. So I said I was going to buy a Tesla. 4 days later, I bought a Tesla. And so I have nothing at home. Okay. So I have to supercharge. My electrician's coming tomorrow. So
just got it.
It's been 1 week, and I've been at the supercharger. So the best part is, like, they're like, you can just go to supercharging, go to anything. So I've never had an electric vehicle. So I look up supercharger, and it tells me there's one. And so I go to it, and I'm trying to plug it in. There's a Tesla next to me. So I think nothing is different, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to plug it in. Nothing's working, Jeff, that they gave me. Like, no plug. There's nothing working. And I'm like, what is going on? And this sweet little millennial came over to me and said, excuse me, ma'am. I'm like, yeah. She's like, you're at the wrong charger. This is for EVs. Tesla's over there.
Oh.
You know, she said the one that says Tesla. I'm like, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And so I learned too. And then I watched everyone, they all reverse in so you can charge. And so it was so funny. I was just like, I was trying everything. I'm
At
like,
least you weren't at the gas station.
That's true. At least I didn't go to the gas station. Like, how do you do this? No, but gas stations should have a supercharger on a Tesla. You know, that would be smart.
Yeah.
Yes.
Huh.
There's your next thing, Joey.
It is.
There it is.
Just call it the gas station for Teslas.
Yeah. So I noticed there's not a lot of superchargers, but I think Ducey just got a bill or something passed for $10 million to add more superchargers.
Okay.
So I hope he does, because someone like me that's, ADD and no patience, like, that would be golden. Like, set them up everywhere.
So how long does it take with supercharger?
So the supercharger, you shouldn't really sit there for more than 20 minutes, but a lot of people can sit there. I mean, it charges
20 minutes.
Yes. No, not for the full battery. Oh. So you set your range depending on how far you're going to go. So yesterday, just to mess with it, I put it to full, and it would have taken 40 minutes, but that was like full. But when I'm in my car, the seat's all the way back. I have my laptop, my iPad, my phone. I'm doing calls. It's like my little office now.
Wow. Because it drives itself.
Yeah. Well, no, not driving, Joey. I don't do that. I won't do that. I'm scared of that.
I wouldn't do that either.
No, I'm a control freak.
Sure.
So you can ask my other half, Jesse. Like, no one's driving my car. Like, I'm going to control it. Yeah. Yeah. I don't need any of the features.
Somebody I know has a Tesla out in, I think he's in Texas, but he posted a picture the other day on social because there were like 5 cars in front of him. He needed to get to that charging station because he needed to charge. So he was estimating that he'd be sitting there for at least an hour or longer waiting to get up to that so that he could actually charge.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. It must not have been a supercharger. So you can do levels of how fast they charge. Mm-hmm. And most people are just in and out. But like I said, I put my little sunshades up, get my computer, my thing. So then I don't like downtime because I always feel like I'm self-employed. I always have to be doing something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to develop that, affordable housing. So just wait. Right. Yeah. Next time I come here, it's going to be happening. I can't wait to
see how you're going to do that. Because rents are so high for someone to say, I'm only going to charge this much when you could be getting this much. Mm-hmm. That's
but we need it
for you though.
But we need it. Yeah. The city of Phoenix needs it. The city of Mesa needs it. Mm-hmm. I think Tempe would be open to it. I don't feel like cities like Chandler and Gilbert, they might be open to it, but right now their development of downtown and so many areas, and like you said, they're hot spots.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be, it's just like Scottsdale. I don't think Scottsdale is going to be down. I love the mayor of Scottsdale, but I just don't feel like it's a need.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think development on their cities and doing other things is high priority. But I know for Mesa, Phoenix for sure. It's just, we're in desperate need of it. We are.
So when you
I think some of the, go ahead, Joey.
I was just going to say, so you say that you're going to be in the development part of it, right? So does that mean that you're planning to own part of the development and you get your land? And
someone's getting a GC license. Someone's,
nice. Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, being around these individuals at Venture, it's just like so many, it's like I'm that hamster again in the wheel, just like so many ideas and turning, like there's just, Frank at Venture, there's so many people doing great things that it's great to be around.
Okay.
So I think the biggest challenge for that really is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the cost to build. I think finding a contractor or finding a builder or whatever that would make it affordable enough to do it as a project. I think that's going to be the hardest part.
Well, I have a couple people already in mind that have big hearts, and that is one of their things. They really, really want to help. They lived in San Francisco and they lived in Seattle, and they saw how the housing pushed so many people into the homeless realm. So I have pockets, I guess you would say, that want to do this.
Okay. Oh, there's other ways to start building houses too. I mean, you can print them up now, right?
There's
3D.
a builder that does that. Yes. Isn't that crazy? I think Habitat for Humanity, if I want to say, they did it first.
Yeah.
I don't know if
they did one in Tempe, I think.
They started doing it in a lot of different areas, but they were one of the first, if I'm right, they're one of the first to do it. And I think someone told me there's a house, I think it was Jonas. I think there's a house in Chandler or Gilbert doing it right now. I don't know if I'm correct on that, but
I'm curious to know how much it is to do something like that.
We have to remember it probably cuts out a lot of costs. Like it has to be,
because I figure, they probably need to get the plumbing and the electrical in there, and then they print on top of that. Right.
And it's like a whole, I'll have to find this video that a builder sent to me, and it's really cool. I mean, it's kind of like a futuristic, like my car. Like, who wants to self-drive? No self-drive. Not only that, like road rage and speeding might be.
Well, I was saying before that self-driving cars won't work until all cars are self-driving.
Oh, I don't know.
Right?
It reminds me of George
there's
Jetson. Do you remember the Jetsons?
I do remember.
I loved the Jetsons.
Yeah, but he still had a steering wheel.
He did.
But he
didn't they have a joystick?
Yes, it did. Yep, the little beep beep beep. Yep. He had Rosie though. I need a Rosie.
Yes, I loved Rosie.
Yes,
I always wanted one of those.
I would love a robotic maid. Hey, come help me,
please.
Yes.
So, do you think that a lot of people in the Phoenix area are going to feel? I mean, at some point, with the rents the way they are, I think I saw the average rent right now is like $2,200 or something like that. For the whole Phoenix metro, which is really high. Do you feel like a lot of people are going to make a decision to just leave Arizona?
Well, you're
go somewhere more affordable.
With a lot of renters, they are. They're going back to the Midwest. They're going to smaller towns where it's affordable to live, and then they can go, work there in the service industry. Like they're, because if you're paying $900 a month for rent versus $2,200, I mean, that's a big deal. I don't know what rent is in Missouri, but I bet you if you compared it to Phoenix, it's going to be a heck of a lot different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, here you can rent, it's around $2,000 for like a 4-bed, 3-bath.
Yeah. But $2,200 in Chandler,
$2,200.
2 beds, 1 bath, or it's apartment.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
So
Here you're getting a big house, like 5-bed, 3-bath.
Yeah. So that's where I think you're seeing a lot of, like you said, I said like buyers are exhausted. I think some renters are exhausted.
Oh yeah, sure.
And it's a struggle now because when you have restaurants that can't house as many guests anymore because of service or because of staff, you're running into not making as much money. either. So, it's something's got to give, but I don't think we're going to go into a rent controlled situation like San Francisco and other cities. I don't think we're there yet. But I've seen so many changes the last 5 years. I'm not going to say anything because you never say never in real estate.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Because both of you coming from lending world, did you ever think you'd see 2% on a 30-year?
No.
Yeah. I mean,
no. And that was one of the things that caused the run up in the prices though, too, is, they've kept the rates down too low for way too long. It's been a decade that we've had historic low rates.
Yes.
That only does one thing, that inflates all the assets around it. So, we're kind of paying for it, I guess, at this point.
Money. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 5.25 back then was a 3 or 5 year arm.
Yes.
Remember?
Yeah, I do. And I think my first place was at either 6.875 or 7.25.
Oh,
and so, when people are, bulking, I think my last client closed at 4.75 and a 30. So I think of like people saying that's high. I'm like, high. Remember the interest only? And like, that's how you could get in because you're debt to income.
Yeah. For 10 years.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Jacks it up afterwards.
We are old. We're aging ourselves. All the younger agents are like, what are they talking about?
Yeah, we just lived through the last one. That's what.
Yeah, but I think with change in prices and change in inventory, like the mass amount of inventory, you're going to see different loan products come out, right? Because they have to spark the buying process somewhere, whether it's a 5-year arm, 7-year arm, but you're going to see like things change and things evolve to what's going on. We can't control what the feds are going to do with rates. And I love it that people think if they complain enough, someone will listen. Like no one's listening to you. Please stop. Like it is what it is.
Yeah.
Just accept it and move on and see what's in your budget. And if you want to move forward.
Sure.
Yep. Yeah. Nobody can predict what's going to happen.
No.
For sure. And I know that there are a lot of people out there. Gosh, I thought I knew what was going on a few years ago, but I've got to the point now where I don't even, I'll venture a guess here and there every now and then, but to say for certain, there's not going to be a crash or it's just going to keep going up or, I'm not going to say either way. But I think what we have to do is we just have to be diligent enough to watch, the leading indicators going forward so that we can shift when we need to shift, right? Or pivot when we need to pivot.
Yeah, but also,
but I don't think that we can say for sure that, prices are going to go down 25%.
No, I think it's all about educating because every home is different. So I love it. Like if an investor or somebody asks me or a homeowner asks me, what do you think this will be worth in 5 years? Like every home is different. So you can't ever predict because it depends on your city. It depends on where you're at. There's so many variables in that. So there's no, like, I can't get a crystal ball out of my purse and like shake it and go, oh my goodness, this is what's going to happen. Because as you see this year, like it kept going up, right? And even in March, I was still in bidding wars. April, I was in a bidding war. And I started to see it slow in May. But June is really where I saw there was no other offers.
Yeah.
So that's when I started calling my buyers like, hey, your patience has paid off. It's starting to turn.
Yep.
And let's start considering, let's go back to your lender, see what you're pre-approved for, because all their pre-approvals changed, right? Because the interest rates changed. So it's just about educating people and, congratulate the people who did buy and sell in 2021, but again, no one predicted that. I would have, I can't say never because I said never say never. So it's just 2021 was a crazy year and, 2020 was insane. So it went like I think what Jeff said is right. It went too long. Right. And a lot of people really profited and made that good money. So now they don't know what to do. But the thing is, if you're self-employed and you're truly running a business, because if you're a realtor or lender, you're running your own business, you are prepared. So those who aren't prepared, Jeff, they're going to be gone.
Yeah. Which I think it's probably more people than you think.
Oh, you just,
that aren't prepared.
Your volume just dropped, Jeff.
Oh, sorry about that.
There we
Yeah,
go.
there he is.
Sorry, I turned it down a bit because I could hear the granddaughter running upstairs. I'm like, uh-oh, she's awake from her nap. So I heard her running across the kitchen floor, and I'm like, oh, well, let me turn that down real quick.
Yeah, so it's just about being prepared, like being prepared in your business, having a routine. And I think that that's what you see with professional, successful agents and brokers. Like, they're just prepared. It's always growing, educating yourself, and evolving and adapting to what's happening.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I think those who think they know, I'm sorry to tell you, you don't.
You don't know.
So, and no one knows. Like, I'm with you, Jeff. Like, no one knows, no one can predict, but we can educate, help, and assist others because this is our industry.
Yeah.
So I think it's about being prepared and professional and educated.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think a lot of people sometimes maybe forget why they're doing it or, who they're helping.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
So you being an investor and a real estate agent, I think that most agents should actually think about being investors themselves because we're in the industry. We know the
Yes.
industry. I mean, at least we should study it, right?
Yes.
And, and I have to admit, I'm an investor myself, but I'm stuck with 3 properties that I was fixing and flipping, right? Should I have known? Probably. Were there indicators? Maybe, but actually this last time, and like you said, it changed so fast.
Yes.
So, but we still continue to learn. And like you said, just always be prepared, have a plan A, plan B, plan C. And yeah, so, I mean, I would like to encourage all the real estate agents that are out there. I mean, think about investing yourselves. I mean, that could be your 401k if you don't already have one.
Do you want to know what, actually at my meeting with Jonas today, you want to know what the stat of that is? So 89% of real estate agents own a primary residence. And I think it was only 23% invest in real estate.
Wow. Yeah.
And is that in any form of investing? So whether they are a private lender or own, buy and hold, Airbnb or
Yeah, I think
fix
when
and
they
flip?
say the investment, I think it's that whole realm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just somehow involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's a low number.
It is. So I'm with Joey, but you know what? You learn from it. You know what I mean? Like you learn from investing because some work and some are not a good idea.
Yeah. You got to get creative. And the good thing about real estate is you can be creative.
Yes.
Right. You can raise funds. And, speaking of that, when you're ready to start doing your development, I mean, just kind of keep us in the loop.
Yes, I'm going to what Blackstone, they just raised $10 billion. So anyone who helped Blackstone, feel free to contact the Lori Gelder group.
Phone number?
480-444-8545.
There we
Accepting all donations.
You never know.
Yeah. So speaking of like donating other things, since we've met, you guys know I have a special needs son. And I was lucky enough to be chosen to be on a board of a special needs organization called Raising Special Kids.
Oh, awesome.
And what an amazing, it has been such a joy to see the work they do throughout the community. And if you have a child that has any type of disability and you need help or assistance, people can feel free to reach out to me and I can get them in touch. And that way people know that they're just not alone.
Perfect.
It's, honestly, you'll learn, Joey, if you can go to the event on September 15th at Double Dutch. Yeah, you'll learn, I'm going to have them talk about kind of what they do.
Okay.
Because with nonprofits, a lot of them can't really get the word out because social media and marketing itself is costly. So when you're dealing with an organization, like we talked about Habitat for Humanity, it's hard now because it's cutthroat, to market.
Yeah.
And so the cost of that goes up. So if someone has a cause or something, they should really kind of help that organization speak out.
What's the name of the organization? Are you allowed to share that?
Yeah. Raising Special Kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Raising Special Kids.
So we call it RSK because we are kind of rebranding and doing things. So we say RSK, and a lot of kiddos that have disabilities, they don't like the word special. So it's very derogatory towards them because when they were growing up, because we have a little advisory board of kids with disabilities that are 18 to 22, and they tell us things that have helped or haven't helped.
Sure.
And so what I love about it is they share that certain words hurt their feelings and make them feel like they can't do something. So, because Triton is 13. So it helps me kind of prepare and know. And a lot of times when they get older, they realize that they are a little different. They learn a little different. And, that's hard for a parent to handle. So, I always tell people that when they ask about Triton, I said, sometimes his brain just works differently. And to not go into, certain things and how he is, because if anyone met him, he is like a dancing machine. Everyone tells me they're going to get him on TikTok and YouTube. I mean, nonstop dancing with his
awesome.
iPad and music. And so he's just a complete joy. Like it just, he can make anyone laugh. And I think I haven't met one person that doesn't like him. Like he is so like, even if you don't want me by you, I'm going to still stay by you because he has no idea of personal space. And he's like, I'm going to make you like me. So that changed too. So that was a huge honor that they're allowing me to be part of this organization.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Great opportunity for you to help others for sure.
Yeah. And then, I can hopefully they'll help me in that realm of, doing that affordable housing because they really know how to, assist and get to, the people you need to get to as well. So, I will call Mr. Tiffany out on that and have him help me.
There you go.
Thanks for sharing that for sure.
No problem. I wish you were here, Jeff. You would have fun.
Yep. September 15th. Is that right?
Yep. You're going to fly home for it.
Oh yeah. I don't know
not
about
home
that.
anymore. Not home anymore. Yep.
Yeah.
I have to get used to that.
Yep. That's right. Anything else you want to share with us before we get into the rapid fire here?
No, it's been absolutely an honor. And I'm always grateful to be a part of it and thank Gelder. And, like I said, the amazing individuals at Venture REI, I am just so honored to be part of that group. And it has really opened my mind, my eyes, like to a whole different realm of possibilities in real estate. So for all those agents out there, just, like Joey said, start thinking of leveraging and being more involved in the real estate industry as a whole.
Yeah.
Not just, everyday sales.
Yeah, for sure. And I was giving you a hard time about the Tesla to look cool.
Oh my goodness. But it's so funny because definitely I wasn't ready. I think a lot of people that buy them were ready for electric. And I am I charge that when it says 120 miles. I'm like, nope, I don't trust it. I'm like, that's getting plugged in. But I don't think it calculates. Like I'm with you, Jeff. It doesn't calculate the actual miles. I think it depends on speed. I think there's a whole equation behind it. And so that's what I'm in fear of. It's not exactly because if you watch it and 1 mile marker to the other mile marker, it already went down 2 miles.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of calculations, and I'm sure
part of it has to do with how often you stop, right? Because if you're coming to a stop so many times, right? Because even the gas ones have the gauge now that will tell you how many miles you have range wise and how many you've driven. And you'll see that. And it will tell you, like, based on how you're driving, you're going to get like 20 miles to the gallon versus 25. It all depends on whether you have a lead foot or how often you're stopping and all that stuff.
Okay. So it might be my problem.
Yeah.
But when you said brake, you really don't use the brake in the top. It's the weirdest thing. So when you take your foot off the gas, the car stops.
Oh.
Like think of a golf cart, right? Electric golf cart. So it freaked me out. I was like, why is this car stopped? And I'm like, I didn't hit the brake. And they're like, you put your foot off the pedal.
So it actually breaks.
Yeah. So that's why their brakes last so long. And there's no maintenance on it either. So that will be different for me.
Sure.
Like no oil change. There's nothing. So that's weird.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's right. How long do they say the batteries last?
So I was researching because, they said they're like $7,000 a battery. And that cost, they said, is going down because they're doing a new technology. There's it's supposed to be 100,000 miles, but most of them are lasting 2 to 300,000.
Okay. Wow, that's good.
Yeah, and
Because I had a friend that's he actually works for the builders, one of the builders, and he had bought. And this was back in the last, hurrah, back 04, 05. But he bought one of those Prius, so one of the first ones that came out, right? That was electric or gas. So it was a hybrid Prius.
Okay.
And I remember talking to him about, this was several years after he'd had it, about, how's it still going with the whole electric thing? He says, well, I just use it for the gas side now. I don't even use the electric. And I'm like, why is that? He goes, well, because the battery needs to be replaced and the battery costs more than the value of the car now. Yeah. So I'm just not going to replace it.
Wow. Yeah. So Tesla's strict battery, but if you research the batteries on them, they last really long. And
that's good.
When I was shopping, because when you shop for cars, you look at miles and stuff. I guess that doesn't really mean anything because they have an 8-year warranty on the car. So their warranties are even
that's awesome.
Really good. But who fixes your car? A robot? I don't know. George.
I hear they're really fast. It's fast, right?
Oh, those things are smoking fast.
So that's what someone told me. So when I was test driving one's like, do you want to drive Ludacris? And I was thinking Luda, the rapper, hey.
There is a guy named Ludacris, though.
There is. I know the rapper. Yeah. So I was like,
oh, that Luda.
Yeah, Luda. And so I was thinking, I'm like, why would I drive it? They're like, because it goes it was 0 to and it was crazy fast. I'm like, but why would I would never use that. And I was like, and they're like, and I think it was maybe 40 or 50,000 more. I'm like, no one's going to use that feature.
Oh, believe me, there are people using that.
Is there?
Because they drive up next to Lamborghinis and Ferraris. And, the Lamborghinis and Ferraris are looking over like the Teslas will take them every time.
They do.
At the start.
Yeah.
Right. Until a quarter mile. Then
until they run out of that battery.
Yep.
Then they have no miles left.
That's right.
I'm sorry, but there's just something about American muscle that, I'm all into give me the old car with the big block.
Yeah.
I know it's a gas guzzler, but you know what? You don't drive it every day, but there's just something about that rumble.
That is true. And so, but when you do drive as much as I do,
oh yeah,
that was, like I said, when I added that, I won't even say what it was because it's insane. I think it was a house payment. I was just like, no, it's time for a change. But again, our other vehicle is a truck, so I can't.
No, and I don't think it's a bad idea to have one. Especially in Phoenix. You've got a flat grid. Yep. Especially in real estate, like you said, you're driving east to west. What's it like 90 miles now to get all the way across Phoenix from the furthest east to the furthest west? It seems like. It's a lot.
So I was looking into a car. It's called the Aptera. It's an electric car, but it's also solar.
Oh,
so as you're driving, it's being charged, especially here in Phoenix, right? Or Arizona.
Awesome.
It's so you can go up to 1,000 miles. It's off of one battery as long as you're in the sun.
Is it out?
It's out. It's out, but it's not like as mainstream looking as a Tesla. It still looks. It's a little bit. Well, it's a lot lighter.
Okay.
But it's called the Aptera.
Okay.
And they're actually selling them anywhere from I think the starting is at 25 to like 60,000.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's not bad at all. I think it's only a two-seater, but they may have some room in the back. But yeah, it kind of looks like an airplane without wings. So
you're talking to someone who's blended with 8 kids and you want me to get a 2-seater?
Just for yourself. You and Triton.
Triton would love it. He'd be like, let's go, mommy.
So Jeff, would you drive an electric car, if it did have that? Because we just watched this movie. It's The Dilemma with Vince Vaughn. And I can't remember the other guy's name. But anyway, it's called The Dilemma. And their main thing was to make an electric car sound like a muscle car.
Oh, that's cool. I have to watch that.
Yeah. I think it was on either Netflix or Amazon Prime or one of those.
Does it shake like a muscle car though?
It did. Yeah. The way this is a movie, of course. Yeah. So yeah, it's actually.
That's funny.
And Ford Mustang, they have one.
Oh yeah. They're coming out with it. And
it's
pickup trucks too.
Oh yeah. I don't know about that one yet, but the Mustang, I saw 3 of them the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those ones are out, but I don't think they go
don't rumble.
vroom. I don't think so.
That one you brought up, Joey, I think I did see something about that one. It's in beta right now because it keeps ejecting people out of the seat.
I don't think that. Yeah, no.
Triton would really like it then.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh gosh. All right. You ready to get in the ring?
Okay, let's do
Let's
it.
do it.
All right, here we go. Quick answer on these. So, what do you think a reason is that many agents are not successful?
They don't have a daily routine.
It's a good one. How about a book recommendation?
You always get me when I'm reading books that I really shouldn't say the title. I'm reading, and it's going to sound crazy.
Oh, I think I remember the last one. Yeah.
Bedroom. Well, yeah. Did you read that one?
No,
Okay.
I probably need to.
That was really good. But yeah, I'm reading Buddha's Bedroom right now.
Buddha's Bedroom.
It's about relationships and
It's not about Buddha.
It is about mentality, like meditation. Yes. Being at
okay.
peace with your, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How about Apple or Android?
Apple.
Apple.
All right. You have a favorite Netflix or Amazon Prime series?
We're watching Severance right now.
How is
And
that?
it
kinda
feels like
weird.
my robotic car. Like it all feels weird. I'm like, I don't
It
understand
is
this
kinda weird.
future.
I watched like 3 or 4 episodes.
It's hard to get into,
It
right?
is. It
It's
is.
just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I'm watching that one that he's in with Mia Rudolph. That is good. It's on Apple TV.
Hmm.
What did they call that one? But it's funny. It's a funny, like where she was married to a billionaire and she finds out he's cheating with his assistant and she becomes a billionaire herself and she starts getting to philanthropy work. And it's quite comical because she knows nothing about it. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. That's on Apple TV.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being in here.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was
Really
great to
appreciate
be
it.
back.
Big shout out to Security Title Agency, Kinder Ashford, as well as Fidelity National Home Warranty for sponsoring the show. Well, definitely, Lori, thanks so much. Enjoy the Tesla. I have heard really good things about them. So,
Yes.
no, I'm not bashing it at all. I think if I was going to choose an electric car, it would probably be a Tesla.
There you
Okay.
go. Yeah, you can pull up next to Jeff and put it on ludicrous speed.
I didn't do that one, remember?
Oh yeah.
I don't know how many chargers are out here in the Ozarks. So have to
Yeah,
plug it into
okay.
220 or something.
Well, you can do that.
It just takes
Okay.
24 hours.
No, you could plug into 220. Same thing
Oh,
as a dryer
220.
vent. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Perfect.
Just have to have a long extension cord.
Well, you have to have the Tesla charger port. So you have to be able to plug into that. I looked for it. It's funny that you say that. I looked for that extension cord. You can't have that. It won't work. Like there's not the adapter in the setting for the plug that it is in. So you do have to have an electrician come out and do it. Which
So I
most
think you
people
just
do.
answered my question to myself about whether I'm ready for an electric car. So
No.
I guess I'm not
I
ready
know.
yet.
I know. I mean, neither was I. And obviously I was not prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right. Well, thanks so much again. And we'll tell Kinder thanks as well. So until next time, real estate agents, we will see you later. Take care.
Bye.
Good job.
All right. Good job.